Hey there, mamas! You are listening to Release Your Inner Power podcast, where we talk about having both me time and being the best mom, sharing stories, encouragement, and tips for taking the steps to release that inner power and that mom guilt. I'm your host, Shauna B. Here we go. One quick thing before we get started. I will be doing a drawing for a fun gift each month. Here are 3 ways to enter. You can email me to share your juicy takeaways, topic ideas you want to hear, or share a story. Share this podcast on social media and tag me with what episode you listened to and what you learned or loved about it. And if you leave a review, you will get 2 entries into the drawing. I will announce the winner the last week of each month. Okay, let's get started. Guess what? Something new is coming in January and February, and I want to give you guys all the little tidbits on it here. I have something that is coming out. If you are a person that struggles with finishing something or starting a new task but you don't complete it, or you want to start something new, or you want to just get adventurous and go out and try something else, or you are having a little trouble working through some guilt because you don't think that you should be doing those things, I have something for you. I am making small community. I have 2 of them. Small community where women come together to communicate, to connect, to support each other with live coaching from me. It is a monthly membership. I can give you all the details. There is a link in the show notes that goes into description on what this is. And I have 2 of them starting January and February. If you want on the list, send me your email so I can get you on this list. Limited spots available to help you accomplish your new year goals. Trish Lynn is a single mom of 3, business and mind coach for women in the online space, who helps her clients show up more powerfully in their content so they can attract their soulmate clients. She is here to talk to us about how powerful the mind is and how you can use that as a tool and bring it into your work to accelerate for your work and your personal growth. She is also going to share her own story after her divorce. Here's Trish Lynn. Hello, Trish. Welcome to the show. I'm so excited you're here.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'll just say right now, excuse the dogs barking in the background. I've tried, but they're still barking.
It's okay. It's okay. I can barely hear them, so I'm sure the listeners can barely hear them as well.
Okay, perfect.
That's fine. So tell me what your story is. Tell me how you got to where you are and who Trish is.
Where do I start? This time last year, my life did not look like what it looks like right now. This time last year, I was still in a toxic relationship, marriage of 16 years and on the way out. So that's a lot of my story right now, is the change and transformation, the pieces that I have gone through to get to where I am today. This time last year, I was in the mindset of, I've got to get out. I've got to do what's best for me. I've got to do what's best for my kids. And now I am in a completely different space. I have my own place. I have 2 of my kids full time. My oldest has opted to stay with his dad, which is perfectly understandable at 14 years old. My business is doing amazing. I'm supporting myself, and all of the pieces that I wanted to bring together, I have managed to bring together in the span of a year.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. It's crazy how you can be in like such transformation and how you choose to go about it and how you choose to change things. What was that for you? Like, what was your motivation and your that really helped your decision making to like get now, like your own space, where you're feeling different and you have a business and you have all of that stuff?
It took years of being in that environment to really recognize that, hey, I can't do this anymore. I had nothing left. I had nothing left to give anyone. So I wasn't showing up for my business. I wasn't showing up for my kids. I wasn't the person I wanted to be. And I did a lot of the work for my mindset before I even left, to have that belief before I left that, I wasn't going to struggle. Of course, you become a single mom of three. Everyone's like, oh, it's going to be hard. You're going to struggle. You're going to have hard times, this, and this. And I'm like, no. And I held that belief and I still hold that belief. And I haven't struggled over the last year. So it was a lot of mindset work and just correcting the thoughts that I was having or the fears that would come up or, the maybe I can't do this. And I'm like, wait a second. I remember how it was. I know how I want it to be. I've got this. And just fully trusting and believing in myself along the way.
That is so awesome. I can 100% relate to this. So I love that you're sharing it because it totally is a mindset thing of having to build yourself up and kind of like package yourself up to get ready for this like new journey, right? Of having the courage to say, I'm done. This is over. We're separating. And then like knowing that you're having, little people that you have to take care of that depend on you, but then like really kind of navigating and discovering what is this life going to look like, that it's like all new, but then also so freaking freeing where you're like, but I can do whatever I want. Like I can make this whatever I want. And so then you can get all excited about it, right? And then it kind of motivates you in a way when you're like, but wait, I can do this when I couldn't before. And then you're like, heck yeah, I want more of this and I want more of this. And then you can like paint this whole picture. And it's interesting how people in general, I mean, I do think that a lot of people around us are doing it out of care and like and love because they want the best for us, right? But not really realizing that like, oh my gosh, you're a single mom of three. Like that's so hard because I am very similar to you. When people would say that to me, I'm like, is it though?
Right?
Is it though? Like, is it really hard? Because I'm kind of making my own life here and doing what I want and what's best for us. And it's kind of awesome here.
Well,
It's
and I
not hard.
finally said, like, I got to the point because I'm like, look, I understand that you feel I'm going to follow. A lot of it was around my mom, right? I'm like, you understand I'm going to follow the same path you did. I have done a lot of the work and I hold different beliefs to your perceptions of what this is going to look like for me.
Right.
This is the, I could go on a tangent here. This is the big work that so many people resist doing because they don't believe it's possible. But when you actually sit in your shit and do the work and realize, like, I've had so many, and it's still like every day, so many aha moments are like, oh my God, I'm not doing this because I fear this. I'm like, wait a second, that's like holding me back. And like, my mind is constantly going and coaching myself through my own processes because I know that I've got this bigger picture and it is available for me in a reality that already exists, right?
Right.
So it's opening up to these pieces that people are like, yeah, you're just a dreamer and that's not real life and this and that. I'm like, but what if it is?
Yeah, right. And what if it is?
Yeah.
And then they're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. But what if it is? That's a really, really good way of questioning yourself also, right? Like when you're going through it, I call mine my brain dragon, like when it comes in and tries to keep you stuck, right? So I love that. Or when it's questioning you to try to keep you stuck and you're like, but why can't I do that? And then it's kind of like, wait, what? And it just kind of shifts a little bit and like opens up things for you to really like work through it and do, like you said, sit in the shit, but then like make the decision for the next awesome thing that you know is going to come to you.
Exactly.
I love that. I love that. Well, tell me a little bit more about your momhood and what your momhood looks like.
So that has shifted completely in the last, I'm going to say, month now. I've only had my two youngest full time for the last month, I believe. So it's completely changed just how I've done everything, around the house, being there for them, showing them, what's possible because they always had it in their head. Well, mom doesn't have any money because there's thoughts being put in their head on the other side, right? Um, so it's been being able to show them, you guys have to go to school, mom's going to sit and work, but then when you're home, we get to spend the time together, we get to be present, we get to do the things together. And just changing, that really essentially my relationship with my kids, and what that gets to look like for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's been, having my oldest, I only have him now every other weekend. So taking that time to actually be present with him and not off, thinking I have to do a million other things, but, I don't have to do anything, and we get to just be together.
Mm-hmm. That's so important. It's so important to establish that too with them, and them having and knowing that you're going to be there. Like, relying that, oh yeah, I know that my time's going to be, with my mom, and having that time with them too. That's really cool that you do that. So what are some things that you are passionate about and that like get you excited?
Right now, obviously you can tell I get lit up when I talk about mindset work. So being able to dive in with women and friends, it's usually the topic that comes up, because everyone knows, like, if you have an issue, you're going to come to me, I'm going to show you a different perspective, and we're going to dive in. So I get really lit up having those deep conversations, and talking about business growth and the mindset piece and life and business, like all of it coming together. It ignites a fire inside of me, and I can go on and on and on and on.
And this is what your business is, correct?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit more about your business.
So I help women who are in the online space grow their businesses and create financial freedom.
By working with them with their mindset, correct?
Mindset is like a lot of people, when they come to me, they think they need a strategy. Everyone's chasing the strategy, right? But in the end, it comes down to your mindset and your energy. So being able to create content that showcases who you are, your expertise, and why someone should choose you gets to do 90% of the work for you. And it's not just the strategy that comes into play, it's the energy behind what it is you're putting out. And there's still so many women in the online space who are holding back what they really want to say, or even what they really want to do. Like, I resisted a lot of the work for so long, so I'm like, well, who am I to do that? I'm like, I'm Trish Lynn, and I'm here to fucking do this. Like, this is what I am here to do. This is where my conversations go, no matter what. So why am I resisting it? Just show up and do it.
Yeah.
And it can be easier said than done, obviously, because that's where we have to work with our mindset and the thoughts that are coming up and all of the other pieces that no one really wants to sit and work on. They just want to keep chasing strategies.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get that few percent who are willing to dive in and do the work, and they grow empires.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy. It's a crazy feeling too when you work with somebody, um and it's almost like when that door opens and it kind of slaps you in the face. I'm like, oh yeah, I've been doing this. I've been doing this. I've been holding myself back and not doing the thing.
Yeah.
Because you are like, because it's so true. So many people are chasing strategies, but it really resides within, and belief in self, and how your mind is working either with you or
Yeah.
against you, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I have done shifts and done a lot of mindset work as well, and so I know exactly how it feels
Yeah.
when you actually see the thing that's holding you back, and then you're like, oh yeah, I need to work on that. But then how awesome it feels after, once you recognize it and you do the work with it, and how I feel like it strides after, because you're just like, I got this, I can do this, and you keep going. It's amazing. It's an amazing feeling.
Yeah, I'm in a mastermind, and one of the girls, she's like, can I just, I'm like, give it to me. Like, let me have it. Call me out on my shit. Help.
Yeah.
Like, you don't grow unless you've got, like, sometimes you can be so close to the problem that you don't see it. And that's a big part of the work I do too. So I'm like, let me have it. Like, don't hold back. What am I doing that I should be doing differently? Or what do you feel like? What is your perception of what I've just said? Like, share it. Let me have it. Let me be able to see things from different angles and put the pieces together.
Yeah, I love that too, because sometimes when somebody else speaks to you, even if it's something that you've been saying yourself, when somebody else says it to you, there's some power in hearing it in somebody else's voice is similar as like a mirror, right? Like it mirrors it back to you and you're like, oh, there it is. And the
You
light
can
bulb will
hear it.
go off.
Yeah.
You
You hear
know,
it
it's,
completely differently
yes.
sometimes. Like,
Hmm. Yeah,
and it's
it's,
like that light bulb moment. You're like, oh my God. And then you're like, I've been saying this for so long and it's just taken me now to realize.
yes, yes. Because
Yeah.
there's something about that. There's something about like somebody else speaking it and holding that mirror for you. And then you're like, oh, okay, I hear that. I got
Yeah.
that. And it's, I have that awareness. So now I can move to the next thing.
Yeah.
Yes, I am also similar to you where I would much prefer people to be like, hey, I'm also in a mastermind and it's the same. It's similar to that, like where if there's something that you need help with and it's like, please call me out on it because I need to move forward and I can't do that if I'm getting in my own way. And if you see it, share
Share
it.
it.
So that's
Yeah.
so awesome. That's awesome. Well, with your momhood and your business and all of these things, tell me how you get like your time for you. Like how do you make sure you get your me time in and what does that look like for you?
So that has been very difficult the last little while. Previously, at least I had every other week to myself and I could do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. So now I've started getting in the routine and the habit of I have my morning coffee, usually by myself. But once the kids are on the bus to school, I go out for my walk and just really take that time to clear my head, sit in gratitude for everything that is going great for like just everything that I'm so happy for. And then I get to work. I come home, shower, get ready, get to work. But my walk has been a super important part of my routine just to get outside and clear my mind for most of it is just clearing my mind because I've got so many thoughts going all of the time that is my me time.
Yeah. Yeah, which is super important. That's also something I'm very pro is carving it out because we're such big on being caretakers when we have kiddos especially, and we do all these things for them and make sure, all their stuff is good and they're okay. And, what's the next thing? Taking them everywhere that we get wrapped up in it and we forget that we kind of have to fill ourselves up first before we can actually be there for them fully without, being the crabby mom or being
Exactly.
snippy with them or being like, oh, this isn't working how I planned or whatever. It's so much better when you take the time out for yourself and fill yourself up than it's all of the bad things that you don't want to do as a mom because then you feel guilty, right? That
Exactly.
is way lessened or goes away
Yeah.
when you take the time for yourself. So it's really great that you do that. And I really like one thing that you said particular was sitting in I mean everything you said was wonderful, but like sitting in gratitude of things which I know that you're going to agree with this is like really sitting in gratitude is a huge shift of your mind because everybody goes to negative like we said earlier like oh being a single mom is going to be really hard and it's kind of like wait hold on like sitting in with gratitude and being thankful and looking at the positive things and the things that you do have shifts your mind to look at more of that versus always going to the negative. And when you are learning and growing it is huge, especially when you're also your energy is needed to other people for yourself. It is like such a huge practice
Yeah.
to do. So that's awesome. I mean, awesome job on sticking with the sitting in gratitude. I think that is awesome. Everybody
It's
needs to have that in their life.
They should. They really should. I can get a little vulnerable right now. My son is seeing a therapist because of everything that is going on. He's having a really, really hard time coping. And what we've discovered is he's got so many negative thoughts about every single thing going through his head. He just switched to a new school. It is 10 times bigger than his old school. So it took him a good couple weeks to adjust, but he still has all of those negative thoughts. And we said, like, and I love her because her and I have a lot of the same mindset when it comes to the work that needs to be done. And it's, every day him and I sit down and we have to write out, well, we've been saying that we haven't been writing them out. I'll be fully transparent there. But 3 positive things that happened in the day. just to shift his mind into the more positive thinking and
Mhm.
stop looking for the negative, stop looking for all the bad things that are going on. And, where can we start looking for the good things and start bringing them into your head?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it definitely opens doors, like you said, when you'll start with like the bigger things, right, that are more obvious, and then the more days you sit with him and do it, then you start bringing out these like gems that haven't been seen for a while, and then you're just like, oh, he's seeing more, he's seeing more. Like you'll see it just by what he's choosing.
Yeah.
That's actually really cool. I really
Yeah.
like
I
that.
think it's something a
My arm
lot of
shot out
us
tingly.
I
I
think
really
a
like
lot
that.
of us need to adopt it. I think it's
Yeah.
something like I used to, and then I stopped, and I'm like, just as we're sitting, I'm like, why did I stop doing it? Before I would get out of bed, before my feet touched the ground, I used to say 3 things that I am grateful for every single morning before I got out of bed,
Mm-hmm.
just to start my day in that positive mindset.
Yeah, plug right into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm totally like cheering with you. Like, yes, do
Yeah.
that. When in doubt or when you're going through something, do that. Not only in the bad, but also in the good, so then it can train in both ways that your brain is operating, right? And when things are bad, you're in survival mode and you're trying to problem solve and figure it out. But also when there's nothing going on, you should also be doing it, because it's like extra strengthening that muscle, right? To
Well,
get you
and
through.
sometimes when you are in that survival mode, when everything's bad, your body can't come out of it. So sitting in the gratitude, looking at what is good, can help shift you and calm your nervous system to come out of survival mode. That's
Mhm.
been a lot of the work I've done for myself as well. Being in the toxic marriage, coming out, I've had to learn and process things so differently than what I was used to and how my body was used to responding and reacting. Now it's like, I guess it was more a reaction than a response. So now it's like, how do I choose to respond to what is happening? And I take the time to process the things that are happening. And am I looking at this from a negative perspective? Because you can be trained, like your body can be so used to seeing things one way that something happens and it's automatically wired, there goes my tongue tied there, wired in your brain for you to respond a certain way,
Mhm.
where or react, it's a reaction, not a response. Whereas if you can sit back and process it and take the couple seconds even to ask yourself questions, you
Mhm.
can respond differently to what your body's used to.
Yeah, totally retraining your brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, which can be done. It can be done.
Exactly.
A lot
Exactly.
of people are like, I can't do that. I've been doing that for too many years, blah, blah, blah. Oh, but I'm here to tell you that is not true.
Yeah.
You can retrain it. That's
You
awesome.
can
I love all of that.
100% do it. And that's where, like, yeah, we want to work on business strategy, but this is the work that really needs to be done.
Yes. Yes, 100%. Oh,
Yeah.
I love all of that. I love all of that. Um, so every mom and woman, I mean, we all have it, but every mom and woman have like multiple hats that they wear. I call them capes as well, that we put on because we have many superpowers. And it's interesting to me as I talk with people to find out how unique and different each superpower is. So I always like to ask my guests, what superpower would they like to share with us today?
I am the protector, and I've always been the protector. And while it is a great person to be, I am now learning to wear a different hat of, I have to still be the one that enforces a lot of things, and I'm learning how to do things differently.
Yeah.
So it's been, yeah, it's always been like I'm the safe space for my kids to come to.
Mhm. Mhm.
But now it's learning how to do things differently and wear, another hat that is something I'm not used to. So I'm training myself now to, have to show up differently for them in certain times.
Right. Right. I feel like that's a huge thing for moms because how we're used to being or what we know certain strengths are sometimes with being open to having to shift by who your kids are and what the situation and scenario is that's best fitting for all parties involved, right? To do that and how we have to switch different hats and different capes, if you will, to provide what is best for everyone. It's kind
Yeah.
of it can be mind-boggling if you really break it down. You're like, whoa, that's a lot. That's a lot of stuff. But just to like be willing to do that too is so great. And like you knowing like this is what you are, this is what your strength is, this is what your superpower is. But then like also knowing like, okay, but I also have to do this
Yeah.
sometimes.
And like I default into their nurturer. Like that's my default. Something happens and like that's instantly where I go. So now it's learning how do I shift into what they are needing in this moment. They're not needing the nurture, they're needing someone to discipline, like being able to be those different people. Or, with my son, the mindset piece behind everything he's experiencing, the conversations that him and I have been able to have. Because then yesterday we were driving and he's like, yeah, the therapist said the same thing. I'm like, I know she did, because her and I are on the same page with that. I'm like, these are the conversations that you and I need to be having, the things we need to be doing. So being able to shift that role of who I am being um, has been challenging, but it's been an incredible experience.
Yeah, and what you get out of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. Well, is there anything else that you would like to share with us today?
I don't think so. I think if you are a mom and you are growing a business here in the online space and you're feeling like stuck, I mean, we've got you. We've all got you. We all need to come together and continue to grow and create what it is we are here to create our financial freedom and lean on each other, because we do it together. We do it supporting each other and building each other up, right?
Yes, I love that. I love that.
And
Thank you for saying that.
being able to share the stories of our kids and what's happening and get the different perspectives, it's always that piece that is so important, because your life and your business are intertwined, whether you like it or not. Like
Mhm.
it's there. What happens in your life is going to ultimately affect your business. Your business is going to ultimately affect your life, and it's how you be able to come through and handle those situations what makes you who you are.
That's so true. Yes, I love that. I love that. Well, if you guys want to get a hold of Trish, all of her information is going to be in the show notes, so you can go ahead and check that out. And thank you so much, Trish, for being here and sharing all of your juicy tidbits with us today.
Thank you for having me. If anyone wants to connect, I love to have conversations. So I am open to connecting, especially on Instagram. Pop me a message and we can chat further.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks.
I just want to say thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, learned something new, or got a juicy takeaway that will bring in that heck yeah back into your life. I release a new episode each week, so make sure to subscribe. If you love the show, want to share a story, comment below. If you know someone that would love or need this episode, be sure to share it with them. I'm sure they would love you for it. Tag me and find me on social media at Ignited Decisions on Instagram and Shauna with Ignited Decisions on Facebook. I would love to know what episode you listened to and how it helped you, as well as connect on social. Okay, mamas, claim your time and release your inner power.